Yo, what's going on? This is the NRW, where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, codename, call sign, Savant, aka Kuya P, and I'm here with the best wingmen and girl, whatever the pronouns. Because really, why does it have to be wingmen or wingman or, can it be just wing person? I'm just saying. Anyway, it's my Top Gun family of the NRW. I've got the amazing Heather, don't hurt him, Heather Hurt. And of course, my man, Glenn Lawrence, Big Glenn, back in the building. Let's go.
What is happening? Yo, I'm ready to take flight, y'all.
Do y'all have the need?
For speed? Yes.
Wait, what is this? I don't know if I said that right. Do you feel the need, or is it the need? Or I don't know.
We have the need for speed.
Look, my hair is all out of sorts because I've been flying, and those G-forces will really do it to you.
So before we take flight, we're going to check out the trailer right now. I'm going to drop it on y'all, and then we'll be back with the basic plot of the joint. We'll talk about the characters, and we'll give you our review for Top Gun Maverick. So here we go. The trailer for Top Gun Maverick.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
What do we have here?
God, here I thought we were special.
Fellas, this here's Bagman.
Hangman.
Whatever.
What the hell kind of mission is this?
Everyone here is the best there is. Who the hell are they gonna get to teach us?
Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell. Let me be perfectly blunt. You are not my first choice. You are here at the request of Admiral Kazansky, aka Iceman. He seems to think that you have something left to offer the Navy. What that is, I can't imagine.
With all due respect, sir, I'm not a teacher.
Just want to manage expectations.
What the hell? Good morning, aviators. This is your captain speaking.
And we're off.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
We're going into combat on a level no living pilot's ever seen. Not even him.
You think up there you're dead. Believe me.
My dad believed in you. I'm not gonna make the same mistake.
Someone's not coming back from this.
Those are your pilots. Anything happens to them.
Smoke in the air!
You will never forgive yourself.
No turning back now.
Come on!
Jeez! Having any fun yet?
Boom, there you go. That was the trailer for Top Gun Maverick coming at you from Paramount Studios. And as you see, I've got Glenn Lawrence, I've got Heather Hurt, and it's me, your boy Kuya P. We're going to break down this film that we had an amazing chance to see in advance. Shout out to the market team, some of the best cats we work with in getting this material to you. So much love to them. So let's get into this. We're dying. I got that speed feeling right now. Let me throw it to Heather to break down the story. Here we go.
Okay, so we are 30 years. Do you feel old yet? We are 30 years after the original Top Gun, and of course, as we know, Top Gun is the ultimate aviation school within the Navy. Last time we saw Pete Mitchell, aka Maverick, he had decided that he was going to be an instructor at Top Gun. That's literally how we ended. That apparently did not work out. Maverick has spent his last 30 years kind of washing in and out of naval bases. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but what he's doing at the beginning is like A+ cool shit. And actually, it might also be the thing that my mother does for reals with the government. So we find him. He gets picked up again for some secret mission in which he is going to train the elite of the elite. In the Navy aviation team. They have a special mission that includes nuclear weapons. And of course, as we know, we do not, in Top Gun, we do not say other nations because it could be any nation. Just a nation has some nuclear warhead, has a nuclear facility that needs to be destroyed. Some previous Top Gun graduates have been brought back to train on whatever this is. I don't want to skip spoilers. That's why I'm kind of like, and that includes, but is not limited to, Bradley Bradshaw, who is AKA Rooster, who is our dearly beloved and missed Goose, his son, who was in the original film. He is back, and we kind of follow his story alongside Maverick's. We also get to see, just to tag in, we also get to see one of those side characters, backstory. Penny, who is mentioned several times in the original, becomes his love interest during this, and we get to see Maverick grow again. Apparently Maverick needed to grow multiple times. This was just his growing up arc times 2, and it then leads to a very fun action scene at the end, heartwarming, loving, and of course there was a Val Kilmer came in and everything was good. So that is Top Gun Maverick in a nutshell.
There we go. All right. So I'm going to break down the characters real quick for you all. Obviously, the star of the show who leads all of this is Tom Cruise as Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell. Back again, 36 years, I think really is what it is. I think it was because it was supposed to come out 30 years later.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 30 years later.
Yeah. But in real time, it's been 36 years, I believe, since the original. So crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. And yeah, I feel old as hell. But Tom Cruise is back and killing it as Pete Maverick Mitchell. Jennifer Connelly plays Penny Benjamin, who Heather, described as a character that was kind of alluded to in the original. That we now see as a person. And so, she joins the cast as the new love interest from Kelly McGillis, I believe, was the initial love interest, right, in the first film, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We have Jennifer Connelly as Penny Benjamin. Also, as Heather stated, the son of Goose, the beloved character who it was so hard to see us lose in the first one. Miles Teller plays the son that we did see in the original, but as a kid, he's now grown up and is call sign Rooster. Another big player that had to be in this film. We see it in the trailer, so this isn't really a spoiler. That we do get to see him in person, and it wouldn't have been a Top Gun film without him. Iceman, Admiral Kazansky, aka Val Kilmer. We'll get more into that later, I'm sure, because that just my heart. Also, we have Bashir Salahuddin, who plays Hondo, who is essentially Tom Cruise's right-hand man from being a testing planes that we find him in the beginning to then continuing. I don't understand, because if you know the military, how did he go from that assignment to this assignment to this assignment? That doesn't happen like that in the military. You don't have that sway. I don't know how Hondo was able to have these different duty stations along with Maverick. That doesn't happen.
I think it was also his punishment, along with. I think that's what they were trying to suggest, though that's not what happens.
Yeah.
You usually get sent somewhere else.
Just as a Navy guy, I'm like, that does not work like that. It's just like there's some inconsistency there. But that was dope, though, and he was a great character. So shout out to Bashir Salahuddin, who plays Hondo. Admiral, I don't see the character name here, but John Hamm, who we know from Mad Men. His call sign is Cyclone. He was a former Top Gun graduate as well. He actually heads oversees the entire Top Gun school now. again, brilliantly played by John Hamm. Wonderful. We have Warlock, who is John Hamm's right-hand man, played by Charles Parnell. Amazing character actor. I've never known his name until now. Looking at the IMDb, I've seen him in a lot of work, and again, kind of gives that gravitas, if you will, and brilliantly played there. Some of the new cast that we see, some former Top Gun school graduates that return to the program because of this special mission. I'll give you some of those cast of characters that were just amazingly played and brilliantly cast. I got to give all the props to the casting department for just these sidebar characters. I actually want more of these characters fleshed out. We didn't get that because, it is Maverick's story. So I'm hoping like later on down the line, hey, I'm not trying to break into our reviews later yet, but I'm just, these are amazing characters, and I'm going through the castles right now. So I would love to see more of these casts. Playing Phoenix is Monica Barbaro, amazing in her role. We have Bob, who was a great side character, who I think is Phoenix's co-pilot, Bob, who was hilarious in it. We have Payback, played by Jay Ellis. And his wingman is Danny Ramirez, aka Fanboy. And also for us fanboys and fangirls out there, if you know Danny Ramirez, he is in the Captain America and Winter Soldier series. If you recall that was helping our Falcon turned Captain America. And if you know the comics, that character actually becomes Falcon later on. Being our first Mexican Falcon, Mexican American. So I just love it. And the fact that his character's name was Fanboy, I was fanboying. So shout out to Danny Ramirez. That was dope. Good casting. Also, he's the new Iceman. We have Hangman, played by Glenn Powell. Has a very punchable face, but also is a great character too. I thought he was brilliant. And then just like in the original film, the two kind of rivals get together and squash the beef, which is what we loved about it. Because you could say that very much about Val Kilmer in the first film too. He had that very punchable attitude, but then at the same time, looking back at it now, because I recently rewatched the original Top Gun, Tom Cruise was kind of a bitch too. So I'm sorry. I'm saying it. Yeah, I'm gonna get canceled, ain't I?
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, like, I don't know, I felt more. Anyway, we'll get into that in the review. Omaha. Call sign Omaha, played by Jake Schumacher. Shout out to him. Manny Jacinto. Shout out to my Filipinos. We got representation up on the Top Gun team. Plays Fritz. Kara Wang plays Halo. Coyote, played by Greg Tarson Davis. And we have Harvard, played by Jake Picking, as well as Yale, played by Raymond Lee. Those are the main featured cast. There's still a whole.
What about my girl Phoenix? Phoenix? Was she in there?
Right at the beginning, Monica.
Is that Monica?
Okay. Yeah. Don't worry,
you're paying attention, Glenn.
He didn't miss the most important character.
I was looking up John Hamm's name in it, and it's Admiral Bo Cyclone Simpson. Just so.
Yeah, they didn't give me the Simpson, the full part right here where I'm looking at
Admiral Bo Simpson.
So there you go. That's the main cast. I kind of broke into our review a little bit just because of my thoughts, but it happens when you're reading off the cast. So I'm gonna throw it to you, Glenn, to kick us off, since we kind of led off Heather and I with the story and the characters. Bring us in. Tell us about your thoughts of the original before we get into this one. Into this.
Now that we have the cast out of the way, now that we have the story out of the way, now we need to get to what you came here to watch is, did we like it? Did we enjoy it? And I will go back to the original Top Gun because I watched it. I think Kuya P watched it. I think Heather watched it recently. And I think the consensus among us was the original Top Gun doesn't really hold up. As a film, it was still very fun. And you realize, like, during the time, that was probably the first time we had ever seen fighter planes in like a movie and like focus on the fighter planes. I think there may have been some other movies, but this was like the main one that made everybody be like, I want to be a fighter pilot. So it was good in that respect. It got people really, really excited. But in terms of a movie, it was like, what did we just watch? What just happened? We just watched a bunch of flight pilots training and banging, and then it was over.
You know what I thought? What it reminded me of, because my wife is into romance novels, it felt like a romance novel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Even
you
with
have
the
just like this
motorcycle
scene out of nowhere where we just get to see them all bare chested. We have the romantic scene. We have action. Just all of that. It felt like a romance novel.
Especially with that. Oh no, that was this one. Never mind.
Yeah. But with that being said, this Top Gun, I think, holds up as a film, as well as a little bit of that nostalgia we were looking for. As soon as the film starts off, it's heavy nostalgia, just boom, boom, boom. Even right down to the font. Did you guys notice the font?
Oh, yeah.
We're old school 80s fonts. I was like, oh, they're even going to go nostalgic with the fonts? Okay, that's bold. So the music started off very nostalgic, the fonts, and everything was kind of just right off the assembly line from the first movie. Like, it was very, very cookie cutter right in the beginning. I was like, are they going to do this the whole time? Are they going to just fan service and kind of, throw back to the old one the entire time? Right to the beginning where he's taken off of the, it starts off, everything's music and horns and it's like to the danger zone. We get that. So I will say all of that was great. Made me feel good as a fan of the original movie, which before I was a fan before, and then I watched it again. I was like, why am I a fan of this? This is not as good as I remember. But as a fan of the original, it did take me back and made me remember fondly the fond memories that I had of Top Gun. And this one jumps right into it. The story, it picks up in a logical place where Tom Cruise, Maverick, he's doing cool things. And I just really like how they incorporated where we left off at the end of Top Gun into this one, and kind of he's continuing on his path. He lives in an airplane hangar. All those type of things were very cool. So I thought they did a very good job of putting him in the right place and giving him a reason to be in this movie, and a reason why we were watching it. We get to see all the other fighter pilots are brought in on a very special mission, and it just makes sense that Maverick is the only person who could teach these people how to fly such a crazy mission. We get a little bit of foreshadowing at the beginning when, like Heather was talking about, where he's doing super secret stuff. That's really fun. I won't divulge anymore because I don't want to blow mom's cover either. As well as spoilers for
what I just said.
As well as spoilers for the movie. But it was extremely fun. We do get to see a lot of the old cast from the original Top Gun, including Val Kilmer, which was a very sentimental and heartfelt moment to see him. If you know what he's gone through, he had a documentary called, what was the name of his documentary? Kuya Val Kilmer's documentary.
Oh, Val.
Yeah. Is it
So
just
good.
Val? Yeah, so if you've seen that, which I've seen a good portion of it, it's a tearjerker, and just to know that one of these iconic actors was going through something, and to see what he has been through, and then to see him come back and be able to deliver some acting that is great despite having his ailment. He really came through and delivered his lines, amazingly. I don't know if that's a spoiler for people, but that was a great moment. Was it a teensy weensy spoiler?
No, that's a spoiler, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, sorry, but yeah. In the course of watching this movie, I thought it was great. I thought that there were some amazing scenes that they had with the dogfighting and the piloting of the planes, and things that we hadn't seen before. So if you're coming in it to see what happens with the planes, fighter jets, you want to get excited about that again, you will, because they do have some things in there. Now, as Kuya P said, there's things that aren't exactly authentic. Authentic, whatever the word is.
English is hard.
Yeah, right. Big words are hard. There are some things that aren't as authentic as you would like, but I thought that the plane maneuvers and fighting, there was a willing suspension of disbelief that the planes can do those things that I think is necessary, but also it makes you think, can planes do that? Because they were doing some pretty amazing, think of Fast and the Furious, but with planes, and sensible. They weren't flying through a mountain or anything crazy. You know what I mean? It totally made sense. So I really enjoyed that. The dogfighting I really enjoyed, and then I really enjoyed the tender moments, right down to the side characters and the side characters' kids that have these moments that you're just like, oh, and it really made it feel good. It's a Jerry Bruckheimer film. There's a new guy, Don Simpson, I think, is the guy who's with Jerry Bruckheimer. I had never seen that.
A while. He's been there for a while.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Oh. What was okay?
They've been partners for a long time.
Well, they may have been partners, but I never had seen him on the figurehead. Like you always see the Jerry Bruckheimer thing, and that was the first time for me that I had ever saw like his name next to him. So I'm like, oh, he must have came up. He must have like stepped
in the
up.
big bucks now. So
yeah,
the Bruckheimer bucks.
Yeah, the Bruckheimer bucks. But I was just thinking to myself, I would really love to be in one of these films. They're always so like good and heartfelt, and it feels like everybody, has a little piece of making it great. It just feels fun. It's very rousing. So it's 100% that. I give it what would I give it? 1 gun, 2 guns?
No guns.
Okay, no guns. But I give it thumbs up. I very much enjoyed it. I can't say enough about how much I enjoyed it coming out of the theater. Now, I always like to see movies multiple times just to make sure I liked it as much as I did, because I'm usually very forgiving the first time seeing a movie. But I feel like this one holds up. It was kind of fun. There's a few things that were like, all right, that's a little ridiculous. But what do you want? It's Top Gun. You know what I mean? Like they used to play volleyball out of nowhere with their shirts off, and we just took it. So you can't have everything, right? Sometimes it's going to be a little ridiculous. But this film was great, aside from a few kind of like what was that moments like Kuya P was talking about with like the aside, like everybody's all over the place. It's like now you're over here, now you're over here, now you're doing this. But aside from that, good film, fun times. If you go into it looking for fun, I think you're going to have that. So that's my thoughts on it. I will toss it to one of you guys. Who should I go to next? Heather, what were your thoughts? Because that was mine. I spilled the beans. I spilled everything that I had on it. I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a couple thumbs up.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I will say that for those of you who have watched the three of us for a bazillion years, we got to see this together.
Yeah, which was really cool.
The three of us were in the same space, and we got to see this. And it was wonderful, and I love these two, and they're amazing, and I was so excited to see them both.
Super special.
But there was actually a really great moment, speaking of nostalgia, where in the opening credits of the original, they did the exact same thing here, where they did in 1976, this the school was started and blah blah blah, and it goes ... to lead into Top Gun, and I leaned over to Glenn, and it goes, they call this the elite school, and it's known as ... Top Gun, and I leaned into Glenn, and I was just like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, right.
I felt pretty good about that one. But I have to agree. It was a lot of fun. The first film seemed like it didn't go anywhere. It was definitely one of those movies, like I saw it for the first time in like summer camp. And I always wondered, I was like, isn't this movie a little old for summer camp? But no, when you rewatch it, the movie is kind of just very PG. Nothing really happens. Lots of innuendo, but nothing really happens. And then, Goose dies, and that's kind of it. By the way, the fact that Goose didn't come back, if you were thinking that he was going to come back to smack Maverick upside the back of the head, he did not. Spoiler. But it was just so messy. Like literally the volleyball scene just made absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense in the original film. Was it a fun episode? Was it a fun moment? Sure. Did it make sense? No. However, we get something almost identical in this one, and it made so much more sense. And even when you look back at the original film, you're like, you know what? That's exactly what they were doing in the original one, but they did not give that context at all. Mm-hmm. So they clarified and they fixed and they gave it a good plot. That's a big thing. If you were thinking, if you have a concern that this movie is going to just be going nowhere, just like the first one, you just see a whole bunch of guys at school. That's not what this is. Half of the film, or 2/3 of the film, is them preparing. A third of the film is an actual mission that they go on. Not spoiling, but it's an actual thing that they do, and you get to see a full rounded story. We actually were stopped by someone who worked with the production, and her comment was she didn't fall asleep. The first film had a whole bunch of I might fall asleep during these moments. This Top Gun Maverick, none of those. You will not have those problems. You're going to have a lot of fun. Val Kilmer was I think all of us were crying, at least during that moment, during one specific moment. And it was not the one specific moment you would think. It was the very, very specific moment. But it was great to see him back. I didn't actually know, I did not watch the trailer with him in it. So when I saw his name come up, I was just like, oh, it's just going to be a picture of him.
Well,
It's just going to be a picture.
Trailer. We never saw him. It was just like the picture on the wall.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, then I just gave away a huge spoiler. Whoops.
Yeah. All good. All good.
I totally thought that it was just like when you see his name and it's in like, right, it's at the opening. So you're like, oh, okay. And then you see Tom Cruise turn around and there's his picture and you're like, well, that was shit. Is that really all we're getting? But hey, he's getting the money for it. I don't care.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, you're going to have fun. And it's definitely better, more well-rounded than the original. The one thing I will say that I'm disappointed about is I am a huge Jennifer Connelly fan. I have been since Labyrinth. I have no idea why she was in this film.
Really? I'm surprised with that. I thought she was serviceable.
I did.
Yeah.
I loved her as a character. Like her being Penny is just kind of funny because, you know, they're going back to the story about the general's daughter, and that's really, really cute. But the relationship just seemed really forced. And this is a spoiler. I'm sorry. The lovemaking scene was awkward as fuck. Nobody you can have an incredibly awkward sex life. I'm not saying anything. I do not judge. You do you. I would never yuck a yum, but that is not how someone lays in bed to have sex. I disagree entirely.
You could get it done. You can get it done, Heather. Sometimes you gotta approach, like as we saw in this movie, sometimes you have to approach the target at an awkward angle to get the mission accomplished. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to be unorthodox a little bit.
Bravo to you on that one, Glenn. I like that. I
want to point out in this podcast to anyone who watches this, a man said that.
We are always the one who are doing the approaching. You know, we do the approach. We do the bombing runs. That's what it is. I'm sorry, unless you know what I mean.
Let's go.
Unless you're flying a different type of plane, you know what I'm saying? Like our bombing, we're the ones who always are doing the bombing run. So I'm just saying, every now and then you got to hit an awkward approach. Sometimes you got to invert it. You got to invert it to get it to work. And I think that's what they were showing in this too. In that scene, they were trying to put it all in there. Like, hey, awkward approach. Sometimes you got to invert it and you got to land it. Sometimes you got to go up to get the G's. You got to get the G's. You know what I'm saying? You got to go up to get the G's. And then you the G's.
Woo! All right, I'm gonna keep it moving.
You ever hit 10 G's, bro? Have you ever hit 10 G's, PFP?
Hey, we're not gonna share it. That's too much information right now.
He's got a kid, it's fine.
You got a kid.
That's the proof. That's the proof. That's the proof, and that's the answer.
I'm put myself on mute now.
What's your opinion? So let me get my joint in here now. So that's hilarious. Oh my gosh, I gotta catch my breath. Okay, so original Top Gun, like we all said, we all caught it in a little bit in advance just so we could prep for this joint. And yeah, and I kind of said my feelings. I don't think it holds up. It's cheesy. I had fond memories of it as a kid, and you know, it's not bad. It's just, I don't know. It's a romance novel brought to life for Midwest women, I think, and men.
And that was just Tom Cruise in the 80s and 90s, to be fair.
You know, I think that's really it. It's not bad. And I will say that for me, this movie surpasses the original. I think we can all agree with that. However, I would say if not for that first film, this wouldn't surpass, you know, that the meat of what that was, because again, it wasn't a bad film, it's cheesy, but if not for that, we wouldn't feel this the way we feel in this film, which makes this film stand out. And so, you know, bravo. As Glenn said and Heather said in the storyline, it's beat for beat in the very beginning, which was very nostalgic. I thought that was cool. But then in my head, because I'm a creative, it's becoming predictable. But then they flipped it on us, and I was happy for that. But I appreciated that they were giving that nostalgic nod, but showing where we are at now with technology and how we could tell the story. So I was happy with that. And then I was happy they flipped it. So my creative brain could shut off and I could just enjoy it and not predict what's going to happen. And I loved it. I really had a great time with it. We spoke on some of our favorite moments, I think, a little bit. And I think Heather mentioned the Val Kilmer scene, or was it Glenn? I'm not sure, but I think we all felt the Val Kilmer scene. Yeah, in the trailer, we just saw the picture on the wall, and I was hoping from seeing the trailers and lead up to this, you have to have Val Kilmer, man. I know he's in his situation, and all the love to him and his family, but you have to have it. And from what I understand, when I was doing some reading prior to it coming out, Tom Cruise wouldn't even have done it if they didn't bring Val Kilmer in. So shout out to him, that brotherly love that, he wouldn't do that unless he felt the same way. And so it was a perfect nod. I don't want to spoil the story, but really integrated both those characters to have like a closeout. And there's such a tender scene between them both. I cried. I admit it. Yeah, I laughed because there's a scene and with them that I laughed my ass off and I cried. And that's what you go for these movies for, is you want to go on that roller coaster of emotions. You want to feel, and this film totally does it. It's outstanding. The best, as you see from my backdrop, some of the best film work that they've done. I'm very curious on how much of it was practical. We did do a reaction on the channel where they show that they went up in some of the planes in preparation, all the main cast. But I'm sure as hell that they didn't really legitimately go into a lot of the fighter jets. So there was camera trick work that I know that they did to do that. As much as the studio may want to press upon us, yeah, they really went up there and they kind of finagled the shots a little bit. There's no way that they would have financed that and put insurance on those actors to have them really flying in those kind of situations in order to make that happen. I seriously doubt that. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But amazing though, from what we got and what we got to see and enjoy and feel as an audience. Like, I want to see this in those 4X theaters that we have as well. Yeah. We all saw it in IMAX, which was super dope. I felt that rumbling. You even tweeted, I think, prior to us watching the film, Heather, like, I think I need to like take some motion sickness medicine or something. I caught that. It was such a wild and fun ride, and I can't wait to see it again. I'm dying to see it again. Definitely 2 thumbs up from me, man. Like, and I want more of and if there is a negative, I want more of these amazing new Top Gun cadets that we got introduced to. Well, not really cadets, they already graduated, but I loved all these sidebar characters. Like, I want to know the origination of Fanboy, why he became fanboy. Is he really a comic book nerd? Harvard, Yale, and Hangman, who's a great character too, our new quote unquote Iceman. Did you get like the Iceman Hangman vibe off of his character? Guys? You
can definitely see the relationship with the naming convention, but one of the best fun things about him, Hangman's, did you see his helmet?
Yes.
It was like the game Hangman, and it was so great. That was the best part.
Totally. And Bob.
Yeah, what?
And Bob, right?
B.O.B.
B.O.B.
What's your call sign?
Bob. It's just Bob. Bob's over Baghdad.
Yeah, you're about to say something, Glenn. I'm sorry.
Oh no. I was just echoing that fact, and just the face that Hangman had. It was very punchable, but also likable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Depending on the situation. Yeah. And I thought he was used very well. It was like,
yes,
like he played that well, that role very well. Although when we were talking about like the parallels or whatever, like Iceman wasn't like kind of in the old film. He wasn't like a
douche.
Yeah, he wasn't like
exactly.
a douche. He was like, hey man, you guys aren't being safe. Like, you're gonna get somebody hurt. And we talked about that, right?
Yeah.
And so his character, you're a douche because you're like, oh, I want Maverick to be the badass. But if you think about it, it's like actually he's trying to keep everybody safe. And then when Maverick's partner died, it's like, see, I told you so. And this one, Hangman isn't necessarily a foil to that, or he's not akin to that. He's more like, I am just the best out here. So he's like a combination of Iceman and Maverick, where I'm just the best. I can do what I want. I look, if people get left behind, they get left behind. They're just not the best. that's kind of how Maverick was, which I thought was interesting because, you know, if Maverick is the teacher, he's really focusing on Goose when the person he is most like is Hangman. And you would think that when you're a teacher and you see somebody who's like you, that's the person you pull aside to mentor more, because it's like, hey, I see a lot of you in me. Or I see a lot of
that's
me.
why we got to have a third, man.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
So you know what I mean? Like there's that little thing, but I thought the way that all the characters mixed together made a very good soup. I just had some ramen. It was very amazing, both the cast as well as the ramen I just had. They fit really well together.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed how everybody came together in that respect. Even the Jennifer Connelly thing, I thought it fit. I know some people said that it felt a little forced. Heather, I know you weren't really a fan of it, but I think it makes sense. She owns the bar. She stuck around, you know what I mean? And they, you know, get a little rekindling. The thing that I didn't think makes sense, and this may be a spoiler, is when she made him pay for everybody's drinks at the bar. I'm like, yo, that's a lot of money. That's at least like $1,000 or two. And you're just being like, don't, like, everybody drinks on me. I would have been a little bit pissed if I was Maverick. I'd be like, I can't believe this chick.
But what you have is you have that beautiful nostalgia right there of him losing out on the first date in the first film, and him and, you know, her walking through, and then him coming through and he's now the instructor doing the same thing with these other two guys. You had some great moments like that that just touched back on small things. Like I don't feel like this is a spoiler because it was in the 10 minutes or whatever you got to see with Spider-Man, where he makes the comments like, oh, leaving your wingman behind. I've never seen that before.
Right.
Like there was some cute things that they really, it's always fun when there's nostalgia and they call back to it, because it just makes it more funny. And that's one thing that this movie actually does much better than the first one. There were some laugh out loud funny moments, and some of them were very nostalgic. But the little kid at the beginning, Earth. Best part of the film. Best part.
It's so good. So good.
Oh man. But yeah, all in all, I am a fan of this Top Gun movie. I'll probably go see it again. I know I'll see it with the wife, most likely. I got to see it with you fine folks. It was so good. That was the other part. It was like we were back together again. Yeah. You know, it's like we had our Top Gun. I said Top Flight. That's a totally different movie. We had a Disney game. We had a Top Gun school together, and we were all the instructors, and we came through and we watched it, and it was good times. I don't know, man. It was fun getting back together too, y'all.
Definitely. I can echo all of those sentiments. Yeah, man. So across the board, we enjoyed the film. I want to just give a shout out, because I'm former military, to the military cast that might be watching this as well. It's one thing, and I mentioned this to somebody else I talked to about the film, and I think I mentioned it to also the person we spoke with after the screening. There was one set of eyes I came into watching the original, you know, as a kid, you know, seeing the pre-military. I'm just a little kid watching this. Oh, military looks cool. Now, 30 something years later, right? And I'm now out of the military. I've had that military experience. There are a few things that I'm like, we wouldn't exactly do that, as I kind of mentioned with Hondo's character, right? He wouldn't still be going around following this other character when he gets orders to another place. So there is some of those military inaccuracies there, but overall, there's like certain symbolism, there are certain logos, and I'm not going to spoil anything in that regard, that my years of experience I recognized, and then even into becoming a contractor, a military contractor, post-military, that I noticed that was kind of cool to see. So some little Easter eggs for us military heads that I just want to give love and light to, and just also some of the camaraderie that just reminds me of that brotherhood, that sisterhood that forms when people from every walk of life come together to become part of our military. And just that union that happens is beautiful to see. We saw that with them building as a team when they go play football, and then as they go through this school together. It's something special, I have to say, as a former military cat, that I just was reminded and admiring that and loving that. And I don't know about y'all three, but once I got into my car when you watch a film like this, I don't know if it happens with y'all after watching like a Fast and Furious, a racing movie, but like this, I was like, I got home. I looked at the time. I'm like, yo, I got home. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to go fast, but I guess I went fast because I was like, damn, I got home really quick. But I was like looking at all my my mirrors, and just getting home, bro. Like, how about y'all?
I can't believe you said that, because I felt the exact same way, and I was like, no one is going to understand this with me right now. But I'm like, wait a minute, that was a plane movie. This is a Fast and Furious. Why am I driving like this? I am so on the same page, Kuya P. I felt that.
Yeah, I turned on a true crime podcast, and I was just out of it. So.
Maybe your husband was then.
Oh no!
You gotta ask him for us. Ask him for us if he was like
definitely he does it with every Fast and Furious. So absolutely, he was sitting there gear shifting in an automatic. Absolutely,
just putting it in the neutral and putting it back in the drive.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. The only thing I will say though is that the beach football scene, I really wanted the explanation how it works when you're playing offense and defense at the same time.
Oh yeah. What?
Like I've never
play that. We need to get a team together and go to like Norfolk and just like go play that.
Challenge them. Yeah. See how? Yeah. Although I'm very old now, I'm very
well, we wouldn't play with our shirts off. We would play like in like knee-length shorts and like.
Whoa.
Wife beater. That's a terrible word. I hate whatever the new term for that shirt is.
Yeah.
An undershirt. We just, run around really slowly together.
Hold on. I said I'm old, Heather. I didn't say I'm not sexy. I will definitely take the shirt.
Okay. Me. I will do that.
All right, y'all. There you go. Those are our feelings, our review for Top Gun Maverick. It was so much fun. We definitely have to do this as a team again. To do something like this in person. I look forward to this pandemic slowing down so we can experience it more often. Let's sign off out of here to our first lady, Heather Hurt. How can the people reach out to you?
You can follow me at Nerd is a Heather on Twitter and at Heather is a Nerd on Instagram and TikTok. Also, please, we're talking about the military. Please make sure you register to vote. That's all. It's the only soapbox I'm going to stand on today. Please register to vote.
There we go. I'm with that.
Sorry, Glenn. What about you?
And I am Glenn Lawrence. I haven't done this in so long, I almost forgot where you can find me at. But Glenn Levels Up on Twitter, Glenn Lawrence Comedy on Facebook as well as IG. And then levelupcomedy.com. Also, you could check us out. And as you can see, we're in the new Level Up Studios. This is a sneak peek. It hasn't been completed yet, but coming soon. And guess what? That means the Blurred Dad podcast will be coming back soon too. So snap, fingers. And I'm so happy that I could unveil this here, give a sneak peek. Yes. Just like we're doing a sneak peek of Top Gun here on the NRW.
I love it. Shout out to the best wing squad in the world, man. I appreciate both of y'all so much. Make sure you all give them some love and follows and subscribes. For me, it's the Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, and IG. Of course, Show Pal Show, AAPI Toy Heroes, and of course, here with the both of them at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. Let us know if you're checking out Top Gun Maverick. Let us know your call signs in the comments below. We can't wait to ride with y'all because we feel the need for
Speed.
Right into the danger zone. That's what we're.
We're about to ride off into the
danger zone.
There you go.